Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to All Our Hearts and Minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good and the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate at heart,
Yeah.
and Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes.
There's been a lot. We had a little hiatus, not only because it's summer, but Kimmy got married. Kimmy had her honeymoon. There's a lot happening.
Yes.
So, how was that? I'm sure it was great, but it was a lot.
Yes, yeah, it was. It was a lot. It was a lot, but I am glad that I'm a married woman now. And the honeymoon was great. I had a good time, just me and him. And the wedding was nice, and Jeanette was a wonderful, wonderful maid of honor. Yes, she was. She held true to that title, let me tell you. But overall, now having a Labor Day weekend,
Yes,
I need
Labor
it.
Day.
It's essential. It's important that I have this time. Oh my gosh, I feel like I can't jump back into work. You know what I mean? So
Ooh, I can
it's
imagine. Yeah,
nice
because
that we're having this Labor Day weekend.
I know I can imagine because you jump in, you got your away for a couple of weeks between the wedding and the honeymoon, and then you just kind of jump into the short week, kind of. Well, not a short week, but it's a long weekend. I pretty much Fridays are right off on a
Yeah,
long weekend.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So how are you doing though? How's everything with you?
Just I am good. I am good. I don't know. Yeah, it's Labor Day weekend, but it's Labor Day is people always ask, about Labor Day, but actually Labor Day is actually a sad long weekend for me. So I normally just chill, be
Yeah.
reflective. I hold my own, and I stay in one place for Labor Day because that's the weekend my sister passed away. And so I normally, like, my mom wants me to be still, and it's not that she's telling me now as a grown woman, but I think from those younger days, from that time onward, she's always like, you need to be still. This is like, the weekend that, your sister died, and da 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 da. Not that she's telling me not to do anything, but I think naturally I just do that. So I usually keep still and just
Right.
chill on Labor Day. But otherwise, the week is actually was really good, and just relaxing. And still, regardless if I'm not doing anything exciting, I'm happy for the long weekend.
Yes, just the relaxation of it all. Like
Exactly.
it's the last shebang for the summer before we go into the big W, which I won't
No,
say
yeah,
that
you're
horrible
sick.
word
You're
right
even
now.
sick for
But
skipping. You're skipping past a wonderful season. But anyway, I won't roast you for that. I won't roast you. Okay.
yes.
So, okay, we did our checkup. We're all good, and I just want to congratulate you for being able to have
Aw.
your wedding. It was very beautiful, and like most weddings, like I hope all weddings, but most of the weddings I go to, you guys clearly were happy to have your day and happy to be married and starting your new life, and it was very gorgeous, and yeah, congrats to you both.
Thank you so much from both of us. I have to get used to saying that.
Yeah,
From both of us.
me and my hubby, me and my
Me and my
husband.
husband,
My husband and
no,
I,
but
we
right, my husband and I,
it's good.
so hoity-toity, but no, but for real, no, thank you from both of us. It was a beautiful time, and I will never forget it. Just like childbirth, I'll
Mhm.
never forget this. Trust me, it was a good time. But yes, thank you, my dear.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll jump into the headlines now. So I was gonna start with Ari Spears and this whole Lizzo thing, but in the past 2 days, a big dirty story has broken out about Ari Spears and Tiffany Haddish, and
Yep.
I'm shaking in my boots for Tiffany. I am shaking in my boots for Tiffany because I actually, like, a little bit before we connected on this call, I was like, is it that, like, these kind of accusations, it's an old, like, how come these are serious allegations and the video is very old, so why is it, like, like, and so I know it's bad, but I went to see how bad, like, how bad is it. It is so bad.
Right.
It's very, very bad. This, first of all, nobody should have even filmed this. Even the person who filmed it, when he played it back and looked at it, this should not have seen the light of day. It should have been destroyed. Like, I get what they were trying to say, but it came across, it was very messed up. And obviously, I don't think Tiffany's doing anything lewd, but the fact that I think the charges are coming in the fact that she was involved, she took part, and I guess, this is really bad. This is bad for her. Like, Aries has been a piece of shit. Like, we're gonna talk about now, but Tiffany, for her even allowing her face to be in this video, it's bad. But
Well,
what are you gonna say?
all I hope is that Tiffany, I hope you stack them bags. I hope you stack them
Yeah.
bags, girl. I hope you stack them bags because this is not looking good for
It's
you,
not looking
and it's not a
good.
good look. And in the industry that you're in,
Mm.
nah, bro, this doesn't look good.
Mm-mm.
And it's very cutthroat. And you just came on the scene. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we all know Tiffany Haddish, and that's great and all. But when you think about the longevity of her career, we're not talking of like,
Only really the
a
last five
Viola Davis.
years.
We're not talking
Yeah.
of right, exactly. So we're not talking of someone, even a Gabrielle Union. Like, she's been in the game for a long time. I could go on and on and on. So I really hope you stack them bags because this is not looking good, bro. And the fact that your name is even connected to this, no one is gonna mess with you from here forward. So just be prepared to change career paths. She's gonna
Yeah.
have to change career paths because I'm saying that only because I don't want to go too deep into it because
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of
Yeah.
it hits
Icky.
me on a nerve that I don't
Yeah.
like,
It's
and
icky.
so uh, it's really icky. It's really nasty and dirty, and I really don't want to have anything to do with this conversation. But I
Mm-hmm.
do want to talk about it briefly and
Mm-hmm.
how I feel about it. And I don't know what you were doing in your past, Tiffany, but prepare yourself for the worst because you are a black woman in this industry.
Yeah.
And we see how they treat black women on a day to day basis, let alone in your industry. So the fact that you are tied to this, I hope you stack them bags because you're going to have a long battle ahead of you. Long. So that's all I got to say about that. But go on with,
Yeah.
what's his name? Aries
So now
and
Aries
his
was,
dumbass.
oh, he's, I don't know what to say. So anyway, he was asked a question. He was
He's a
on a pod,
dumbass. That's what he is.
he was on a podcast, and the interviewer or a video, and the interview asked him about Lizzo, what he thought of Lizzo's music, or he asked about a good artist, and the interviewer throws out, "Yeah, what about Lizzo? Her music is good," something to that effect. Like it was thrown to him in a very positive way, and I'm going to explain my theory after I go through the story. But he immediately says, he's like, and he pretty much kind of like blows that over, kind of like makes a passive remark, and says she looks like the shit emoji, and continues to say a whole bunch of fart, pretty much to the point of the fact that she's unhealthy, she's overweight, and people are praising her for that, and this and that, and it just got really weird. It was just like, I mean, this is not, and that narrative is not new. We've had a few episodes where Lizzo was in the headlines and we discussed. It's nothing new for people to criticize her weight, but I think, first of all, it's like you went out of your way. The man wasn't asking you what you think of her attractiveness. It's like you went out of her way to shit on her, first of all. Second of all, you are talking about, oh, maybe, talk about health and lifestyle while you're sitting under these lights, sweating and sounding like your heart is like, has
Like a
congestion.
pig. Okay?
And
Shoot.
looking like you need to look after yourself, put down the bottle, put down the whatever it is you're doing, probably alcohol. He looks like he's been abusing his body outside of even just food with overweight, but even like alcohol and drugs. Like, he, maybe not drugs, but definitely alcohol. He just does not look healthy. And so for you to go in so hard looking like that, it's like, I just, at the end of the day, I kind of feel like this was done intentionally for attention. And now that this new story has broken out, everything is looking very, very orchestrated, very weird. But yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, like almost like he's going through a ritual. But because I've noticed that, sorry to cut you, but I've noticed like a trend that, superstars or like, people who want to be superstars, they go through like I would say, a ritual of embarrassment, and then after that, somehow they make it big, or they get the best role of their life, or they get to perform on the biggest stage that they ever performed on. I just feel like this seems very ritualistic to me, and I say that because where the hell was Aries? Like where the hell where is it? Like he's a comedian. If you know black comedy, you
Yeah.
know of him.
Yeah.
But to say that he's a household name,
No.
no, he's not.
No.
He's not nowhere near being a household name. And all I gotta say to you, dumbass, is you are the wrong messenger, my friend. You are the wrong messenger. You can't be standing up, sitting up there in this interview looking like you're ready to pass out from a diabetic coma, okay, and want to come talk about Lizzo. Like, what I need you to do is focus on self. He didn't ask you about what your thoughts on her appearance. He asked you on her abilities as a musician. And I think you should have addressed that and kept it moving. Um, you don't want people to ask about you and say, oh, that big fat guy that had the nerve to talk about Lizzo, oh, him. Yeah, I know you're trying to associate your name with someone doing bigger and better than you, but unfortunately you didn't hit the mark, Bridget. You didn't hit the mark. And this one time, because I've come on this show before, and I've said, Lizzo, stop the damn crying on the internet, okay? And Lizzo showed me up this time, and she handled him like a true elephant listening to a dog bark. She went on the stage and she tell the people them, I'm winning. And that's all you needed to do because you are winning. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Nobody
Yeah.
knows this guy. Well, please go sit down someplace. Okay? For real, for real. Like, I felt like Lizzo handled herself. It was a wonderful clapback. It was a very firm, witty clapback. Yes, I know she went on, I think it was Instagram after that, but it was after the point. The initial remark, the initial response, clap back to him was something that showed growth of Lizzo. You came off the damn internet crying your soul out to the people who don't give a damn, and you went on the stage where you won an award and showed people, I'm winning. Thank you, Lizzo. Thank you very much. Aries, go sit down someplace. Okay, go sit down someplace. I can't stand him. Okay, I can't stand his attitude. And now we have more coming out about him. And it's very, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
nasty, deep, and dark. And it's, like, where did this guy come from? You understand what I'm saying when I say the ritualistic type of behavior? Like, where did he come from? Did you
I
sell
think
your
he's.
soul to the devil and this is what you're supposed to do in return?
I think
Like, I
he's.
don't get it. Like, where did he come from?
No, he's
You know?
very. One thing about him, since like I thought he was very brilliant in Mad TV, like he was like hilarious. But I think since that he's become very bitter. Every time you see him, he's complaining about Kevin Hart, about this, about that. He's very bitter because I'm sure he didn't have the career that he wanted, or whatever. And so I don't know, like you said, that's too much of a bag to handle. So we'll watch the story as it goes, and maybe we'll address it. Maybe not. It's a pretty messed up story right now. So, but
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm gonna watch that.
I'll move on to Stacey Dash. Like Stacey Dash, what wrong with you? What wrong with you, Stacey? What wrong with you? But anyway, I'm asking that question, but we done.
Dash.
Stacy,
Wrong with you for real?
Stacy had the nerve to put herself on Beyonce's internet and record a video talking about crying in tears that she just learned that DMX died. I'm sorry, I don't want to laugh. But DMX died over a year ago. Like a year ago.
Just learn. I gotta laugh because what rock? Okay, what rock have you been hiding under?
Like
For
this,
real, looking pale and things, looking pale like you haven't seen sun in a while.
I was like,
What
yeah.
rock you upon? For real.
Well, now that might explain the
The
paleness.
big superstar DMX passed away.
Yep. She was like, I was strolling.
It don't make no sense, Jeanette.
She
It don't make no sense.
she was on her social media and she said that she acknowledged that, oh, this post is late. I was strolling through TikTok and found a DMX song that saved me many times. Suddenly it says rest in R.I.P. I did not know he passed away. I'm heartbroken. He was such a great guy. Stacy. Okay, but anyway, we know Stacy's. We don't want to say it, and again, I don't like to throw certain things on people, but Stacey's obviously been struggling. Since the Trump thing, she's been spiraling. She's been spiraling, and even if she really did just find this out, why did she go on social media after a year? Like, this is something you should have been ashamed. You should have just kept that L to yourself. But no, you record this shit, and now everybody's looking at you like, Stacey,
you done lost your damn mind. That's what people are looking at you like. And since the Trump thing, we've seen you lost your damn mind. You are from the Bronx, bro. What you mean? Okay, you're not no hoity-toity somebody around here, so you're from the Bronx, me. Okay, so I don't understand how disconnected from your community you can possibly be. But when you went with the whole Trump stupid shit, that's when I knew you were very disconnected from your community. Very much so. And as much as you might not want to say that it is your community, it is, my friend. It is your community. Okay, you can hide out under whatever rocks so you turn as pale as sun. I'm in a business. That is your we are your black people are your community, and stop the nonsense. The fact that you didn't know this shows that there's something going on in your life that is very traumatic, where you wouldn't hear this. This is not, a Joe Schmo. This is DMX. He was known internationally around the world. He wasn't just known for his music. He was actually an actor as well. So people know who he is. The fact that you don't know that he died a year ago shows me that you have some serious things going on in your life. Okay? Because they had a big old dirty memorial for him. Like, I don't understand.
No, yeah, this was really like public.
But
this
Stacey,
was national.
This was huge, Jeanette. Like, this was huge, the memorial for him. And to this day, there's still different programs that mention him or that talk about him. There's different rappers that talk about him, that mention him. And you're trying to sit here and act like you weren't in the, Kanye West video. Like, you're acting like you weren't a video vixen. Like, you're acting like you're so disconnected from your community, your culture, everything about being black. So you stay one side, but I need you not to go on the internet and look like a damn fool. Okay? I really need you not to, because at this point, I gotta really think about it. Should we start taking our black card from Stacey Dash? Like, I don't know what's going on with this chick.
We took it away from her.
How do you not know that he died?
We took it away from her with the Trump thing. So that's
I done take it away from her. But some people seem to, be holding on to this Stacey Dash thing. Like, I don't know. She's a pretty beautiful woman, but she's an airhead. She's out to lunch. Okay? And this shows it. How could you not know?
Yeah, but obviously there's
first
something.
First of all, it's not that long ago. It's not that long ago.
Yeah, it was about a year. Yeah.
It's not that long ago, and people are still talking about it. So I don't know how you don't know. But anyways, moving on.
So
this twit, I can't deal with her.
I think that we were gonna talk about Future, but I kind of don't want to. I kind of think like that's just him. Basically,
yeah,
he has that new
he's
song.
Irrelevant. He's an idiot.
Yeah, he has that new song. I don't even remember what it's called right now. But he has a reference to Sierra where it's like he's still smash C or something to that effect or something along those lines, and it's just it's called Bullseye 2, yeah. And in this verse he says still smash on C, and it's just like at first there was a lot of people riding on his side, especially when all these guys were kind of clowning Russell for being a square or whatever. Everybody was still trying to be on Future's side, thinking he's cool. But I think right now, if all the people who were riding his D before, I hope they jump off of it after this, because this is corny as fuck. That's all I have to say about it. It's like you're not that guy if you're pining after a woman that left you 10 years ago, I think, around that. So yeah, I don't know, man.
The only thing I want to say about that is, you know what, Future? You lost one. Move on, bro. You lost one. You lost a good one. You know what I mean? And the only reason why you give a damn or you're even still thinking about her is because she's the only one that got up and did better.
Mm.
Sorry. If she didn't do better, she'd be like the rest of your baby mothers that you have there, the whole harem. Okay? She did better. And that's why you miss her. Well, too bad. Too bad. Moving on.
Okay, so this week, it's good timing. We were supposed to talk about this 2 weeks ago when Serena announced that she was retiring from tennis, which we probably knew was going to come up soon, just, just timing wise and the injuries and everything or whatever, right? But still, I was like, oh shit. Like, the way she announced it was pretty epic. She did a Vogue article and basically she explained kind of, it was a good article just talking about where she's in life and what she wants to do and everything like that. And one of the quotes that she took away, and she actually played her last game last night, which I saw the highlights, and she fought. She made it to the third round. I was happy. I was like, please just make it through the first round. That's all I wanted. And she made it to the third round, and it was actually up into three sets. So it's like there was a tie, and right at the last set, she lost. And but anyway, she said, I've been reluctant to admit that I have to move on from playing tennis. It's like a taboo topic. It comes up and I start to cry. I think the only person I've really gone there with is my therapist. And that's a quote in the Vogue article. And I think that's clear. I think anytime you do something you love, and we know Serena loves tennis. She loves being the queen of tennis.
Her.
It's her.
That's her.
She completely rebranded. No matter how many people tried to downplay her success, I mean, she went to the point where you cannot even be denied. Like that, all the U.S. Open that she's been in this week, it's all been about Serena. And I'm sure there's some players who are annoyed about that, or some people who are annoyed about that. But you know what? No, she deserves it. She deserves it. And the U.S. Open, Arthur Ashe court was her court. And I just want to thank Serena. Like, I remember when I was in elementary school and all these news things. I was not, like, I didn't know tennis. I didn't, like, in our community, tennis was not big. It's like basketball, soccer, softball, those things, not tennis. And then when these girls came, these black girls with their beads and everything, and I was like so in awe because everybody was talking to them. Because it wasn't just a tokenism of them being black in a dominantly white sport, but it was a tokenism as they were so young and they were bloody good as hell. Like Venus. Right? Venus started, right? Serena eventually surpassed Venus. But I mean, still, it was like this image of these two young black girls kicking ass. And something
literally
that before I move on, we thank Serena. We know Serena's a GOAT. We know she's done so many things on and off the court, and we don't have enough time on this episode to go on it. But something that I have to say that I've always not liked, they've been really gracious, but something where you could tell the racism was always passive aggressive, and there was a couple of times where it was like blatant with them on the court. But I always remember consistently throughout their career, something I didn't like when I watched their matches is you would always hear this tone in the announcers. They'd always downplay. They'd always exaggerate. Oh, wow, she's loud. She's this. Or if it was another player that if she was playing against a European player, the way they would try to root. Like, there was always this underlying thing, this thing that only as a black person or a person of color who knows past, what do they call it, microaggressions? Those play-by-plays were filled with microaggressions. And I just, for them to stay in it, to stay true to themselves, to not really conform, stay true to where they come from, bravo, bravo, bravo. God
yes,
given.
And as you're saying this to me here right now, it reminds me of a song. Okay, just hear me. I'm going to roll quickly.
Yeah.
So you remember the song Monica did, and there's a part in her song where she goes, kick down the door and smack your chick.
Yes, I did.
That is exactly what Serena.
Yeah.
That is exactly what Serena and that's what they did. They kicked down the door and smacked your chick.
Yeah.
They took over tennis.
Literally.
They literally took over tennis. Okay, they took over tennis. They made it popular to
Mm-hmm.
watch.
Yes.
Okay, everybody wants to see their match.
Mm-hmm.
All sorts of races came out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in celebration of Serena specifically. Yes, we know her sister. Yes, we know Venus. You know, she did it. She did the do.
Mm-hmm.
But Serena kicked down the door and smacked your chick.
Mm.
Every time I think about their career, I feel like that's exactly what they did. And thank you. Because you
Mm.
provided, and I'm gonna be real specific right about now, and there might be some people who don't like what I have to say, but she showed me that a dark skinned black woman can kick down the door and smack your chick.
Mm.
She took over tennis. She is a legend, an icon. She's done great things outside of tennis, and she is a wonderful example to girls like me or women like me who
Mm.
are growing up seeing this woman conquer
And be
all of those
herself. And
stereotypes,
be
all
herself.
of those, all of those past aggression, all of
Mm.
those minor aggressions that they had for her. Now, you can't watch a tennis match and hear somebody grunting loud like, "See,
Yes.
listen,
Exactly.
she set
Exactly.
the tone. She set the tone." So every time we're talking about this and you're like, "Yeah, she did this," I'm like, "No, she kicked down the door and slapped the chick."
I like that. I
Thank
really, I
you.
actually do like it because that's just a more
She
direct way.
literally smacked your chick because at the
Yeah.
time when they came out, they were unheard of.
Yes.
They were in tennis, they were unheard of.
Did you watch the movie yet?
So they literally, and now tennis is nothing the way it used to be. Hmm.
Did you watch the movie yet? No.
Um,
Okay. The
my
one.
life has been about a wedding for the
That's
last
true.
year.
You know what?
No,
Yeah.
but for the last year of my life.
It's
So
true.
it's now come to an end, and I can get down deep into some movie watching, some series. I have to catch up on some things. I feel
Okay.
so
That's
left
true. I
behind.
forgot. Yes.
But
The
you know
wedding is
what?
a lot.
Thank you, Sierra. Thank you so much for doing what you did, and thank you for contributing. You set a whole new bar in tennis, and so far, I haven't seen nobody able to achieve what you did. So kudos to you, girl. Go take care of your family. Go take care of your family. She wants to be with her family. She
Yeah.
wants to be a mom. She wants to do all of that. Go do that. Because I think you would be just as great at being a mom as you are a tennis player.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna leave it there.
she's gonna do her family,
Mm-hmm.
and she's gonna continue to do her venture, Serena Ventures, which are venture capitalism. So she's following in her husband's footsteps. So she has a lot going on. So kudos to her. Okay, we're gonna jump
Yeah,
into
and, and
news and.
and just pay close attention. 1 second before you do that,
Mhm.
pay close attention to her daughter.
Oh
That's all I
yeah,
gotta tell you.
oh yeah.
Pay close attention to her daughter.
Her
That's
daughter,
all I gotta tell you.
her
That's
husband's
all I gotta
twin.
tell you. The child don't look nothing like Serena, other than the
No,
little shit, little darkness.
no,
But I'm saying, pay attention to that child. Pay attention to that child because greatness, it could be passed on.
of
It
course.
could be passed on. I could see her daughter. Just pay attention to that child. Anyways, yes, music news.
Okay, so the only thing we were going to talk about music news. Let's just take 5 minutes to talk about it. Nicki Minaj won the MTV. We had the MTV Awards, and it was pretty generally. I don't know. The music acts is a lot of them I don't care for. They're huge for a reason, but in a business. But anyway, Nicki Minaj was granted the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. On this past VMA award, this past weekend there, and it's long overdue. And I heard a commentary. I was listening to
Yes.
another podcast, and I heard a commentary where somebody said, and I don't agree, but this is just for the discussion's sake. They felt like she didn't deserve it, and I said, "What?" And the reasoning they said was that, they're just giving this to Nicki now because they pretty much ignore, like, they didn't give her flowers when she was top of top. They didn't give her when she deserved it, and this is like a backfill, which is true. Sometimes these Vanguard and these Lifetime Achievement Awards, it's usually given to people who weren't acknowledged at the time. So I kind of get her point, but either way, I think she deserved it. Nicki's videos are iconic. Nicki's videos are iconic, and she opened up. And just to say, and what I really appreciate about this show that she did is sometimes you do the Video Vanguard Award, and it's you're getting the award, and people kind of half-ass it. They do the performance because you need to, but Nicki came on and killed that. You know what she opened with? She opened with Monster, her biggest burst yet.
Wow.
And she mimicked the video, and she's put on a little extra pounds. She's not as agile, and she was never a mover and a dancer, but she did. Nicki moved and she danced for us, and I appreciate it. She gave us a lot. And let me say, I know that I'm a big Nicki fan. I know Kim is kind of Kim is what's the word? Grudgingly respects her. I was what I would say. But
Yes, and you are correct.
yes, I
Yes.
do know we've had many
Yes.
debates about this. I know there are other female rappers who deserve a lot more respect, but Nicki was and
What I will say about the Vanguard
mhm,
is Nicki Minaj, you know, I'm not gonna knock you
mhm,
because you have made carved out a space for yourself.
mhm,
You've carved out a space and everybody knows your name and you are very much a household name. And I can give you your props where props are due. But sometimes you're involved in shit I can't get down with. I can't get down with you and some of your nonsense. I just can't. You and your barbs, I can't get down with them neither. Okay, they're trolls. Um, I just can't get down with some of the things that you know. And to be quite honest, there are other people who I think could have got that
mhm,
over Nikki,
mhm.
but you know, it's a political thing. These awards nowadays, it's all a political thing. So at least she killed it. At
Oh
least she killed
yes,
it. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like I'll give her that too. Like at least she came. She showed up. She showed up for her award, and I can appreciate that. Um, but yeah, I could have, there could have been some other people. I don't know, like maybe Janet Jackson. I know her
I'm sure.
videos are
Sure.
old.
I'm sure she's gotten that already. I'm sure she's gotten that already.
Probably,
Yeah,
probably,
I think.
I
I
don't
think.
know. I feel like there are some people who could, what about Missy Elliott? Like,
Missy must have
I'm
gotten that.
sorry.
Let's see. Let's see how many people have
I
gotten the.
have to check that shit out because I don't think Missy would have told us about that. We would have known about
I
that.
feel like I think
Um,
in the last 2 years she did get that. She did.
and
I'm seeing that top.
Rihanna.
No, Nicki can get it before Rihanna. Sorry,
Well,
Rihanna's on the list, but maybe they want her to be there, so maybe next year Rihanna will get it. But Rihanna's
that's true.
definitely on the list. But I think
I'm sorry. I don't know. Rihanna would have been above Nicki for me. But if we
I
were
mean,
to keep it
is it
in terms of rap, if we were to keep
yes?
it in
Oh
terms
well,
of
hands
rap,
down, without a doubt. That's like not even a question.
if
Um,
like if we're just talking about rap, then okay, maybe.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Janet got it in yeah, she got hers a long time, 1990. Okay, so she got it, and then let me see. I feel like Missy got hers in the last couple of years. Let's see if I'm wrong. Rihanna already got hers. Rihanna got hers in 2016. See, so Rihanna did get it before her, and Missy got hers in 2019. So it was time.
Okay.
It was time. Nick, it was time
Well,
for
I
Nicki.
guess so. They've gone through everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry, Barb's. Sorry, Nikki. No, she does make some good music, and I'm not gonna say that lyrically she's not on point. She
Mhm.
is for a female rapper. I think she's on point. It's just, yeah, she's not my fave.
Yeah, she's just not your
We'll
fave,
just leave it
but
at that.
objectively, you can give her a top and this in rappers like all
Yeah,
rappers
something
you
like
can
that.
yeah okay so anyway we're gonna pause here and I'm
Well,
gonna
I guess it's her turn.
it's her
It's
turn.
her
Well,
turn.
it's her turn, and I think she was been snubbed enough when she was really at the height. Now she's kind of in her glory days. When she was in the height of like churning out music and videos all the time, I do think she was snubbed. And it's like because especially when you look back now. But she got her
Yeah.
flowers. She got like this. The crowd was like screaming. The crowd was on her feet, and she gave us a show. So congrats to Nikki. And hopefully, she's releasing music, so I'm expecting at least an album soon time. But I don't know. We'll see.
Better.
Every time we see her, at least I'm thankful that she's still putting out music because you never know. All right, so let's jump into our first segment, which is Wagwan for real.
Wagwan for real.
And in this segment, we take a look at stories that just don't add up. They don't make much sense. We see them or we watch them and we have to ask the question, what a guan for real? And
For real.
so this week we are talking about this whole Irv Gotti fiasco where it started when he appeared on Noriega's Drink Champs, and the video clip that he went viral of him talking about Ashanti and their relationship while he was married and everything like that. And I mean, there are some weird pick me people who were on the point where he's like trying to put the attention a little bit. Some people, some weirdos were trying to put it on Ashanti, but I think me looking at this, I just got Irv the Perv. Like, it was giving grooming.
All the way.
It was giving grooming. Like, she would have been 19, 20 years old. It was just weird. And the fact that you're talking about it 25 years later. And to your point, you were telling me that this isn't the first time. I don't know why. Maybe I erased it from my memory, but it felt like news to me. But like, I think I do vaguely remember something like this coming out a few years ago, right? And so he's just being weird. And anyway, so at the premiere at the MTV Music Awards, he was there and he's promoting his new documentary or show on BET talking about Murder Inc. and stuff like that and his career. And Shade Room asked him, why is he talking about this now? Why is he like bringing her name in this and talking about this nonsense now? And he said, "You keep asking me, did I bring Ashanti up? You did it. Here's what I'm gonna say. I wish Ashanti nothing but the best. I'm not hooked on her. Like, I can't get over her. It's none of that shit. I got paid to do a documentary on my life and on Murder Inc. If I didn't talk about Ashanti, you'd be like, what type of bullshit is this? So it's important to Murder Inc. and his life." Well, I call BS on this because you could have hinted on that. You didn't need to go into that detail. It's just the way it was brought up. It seemed really gross and weird, and like on some type of like bitter tip that what the girl moved on or the girl like just weird. And you're bringing up the documentary. You could hint that story's in there without having that awkward conversation on Drink Champs looking like a creep.
Well, okay. First, I want to say that Irv Gotti, you were a married man. Okay? You were a married man and you treated your wife like absolute garbage because you had the nerve to carry on an affair with a woman, a young girl that was probably almost half of your wife's age at the time. And you kept this relationship going on in the free public, all in the streets, disrespecting your family, your wife, and somehow you scaved right on by. Okay? Now let's fast forward 20 years. Ashanti was with Nelly for almost 10 of those 20 years. Okay? She's moved on. Murder Inc. is dead. I don't understand why we're going back to the glory days of you cheating and treating your ex-wife like shit. I don't understand why you need to use Ashanti's name in order to stay relevant. And lastly, you look disgusting as a man. You really do, because you're bringing up something that, first of all, really shouldn't have any more relevance at all. It shouldn't have any, fire behind it. And you're trying so desperately to keep the flame lit. And I'm sorry, my friend, but it's out. It's done. You look like a fool. You look like an old man who's going back down memory lane of when he was cheating on his wife, using a young girl, because while she was with Murder Inc., you tried to keep her on lock. Okay, you tried to, yeah, you were giving her songs to people like J Lo, and being sloppy and shit, and had her voice throughout J Lo's song. Like, you were that despicable that you had this young girl in the palm of your hand, and it was only God that broke her loose from you, and now you're still to this day trying to talk about this young girl. Wow, Ashanti, you put it down on him so hard and so good, girl. He's talking about you 20 years later. Ashanti, don't say not a damn thing to this man. Don't say a damn thing, because he's doing damage on his own. You look like a fool. You need to, you look like a pervert right now. You really do, because if you think about how old Ashanti was at that time and how old you were,
Exactly.
you're
That's
a damn perv.
yeah,
And you're still
exactly.
talking about your perverted actions. You're
Hmm.
still talking about them, bro. Go sit down someplace. How about you work on Murder Inc.? How about you? And one thing that I didn't like about this whole situation was I felt like the people who were close to Ashanti, such as Ja Rule,
Mm.
they should have spoke up a little bit more. I feel like they should have defended her a little bit more. I feel like if any words should have been said, it was from those people that she calls her friends or her family. And the fact that he's still talking about this, Fat Joe said it best on his podcast. This is ridiculous. You're still talking about a 20, you're still wound up on this 20-year-old thing. Like, really? You look disgusting in these streets. And the fact that you're trying to say that you have to talk about Ashanti in order for Murder Inc. to be successful shows your lack of leadership, your lack of business sense. You should do something fresh and innovative to remove yourself from all of that toxicity. But instead, you want to dive deep into it for a check. So, all right, cool. You sold your soul. Well, let Ashanti live her best life. She's over here living her best life, okay? Leave the girl alone. Please, on thanks. I can't stand him, you see. Every minute this man is talking about Ashanti and what happened 20 years ago. This is not the first time. And it's like, you look so desperate,
Mm.
desperado. Like, I need you to go and sit down someplace. What? Your ex-wife caught sense and left your ass? Now you're an old man and you want to go back on the glory days? Well, leave Ashanti's name out your mouth. I can't stand him, you see. I can't stand him. I can't stand people that do that, man. I
Yeah,
can't.
he's looking like a
You're
clown.
doing this on purpose. You're doing this to try to create publicity for yourself. So you're still trying to use the girl? You're still trying to use the girl? Really? 20 years later?
Right?
You didn't use her enough when she was a young kid? Really? Like, get out of here, man. Get out of here with that. Anything that has Irv Gotti's name on it, I'm not about that life. Sorry.
He's now Irv
No,
the Perv. I
no,
might, I might,
no.
I might name the episode Irv the Perv. We'll see. Anyway,
Irv the Perv!
we're gonna. I guess yeah.
Here,
That's it.
here.
That's it.
Talking about Irv the Perv. I can't stand him, you see. I just don't like when people do that. It's like, it's really pathetic. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And it shows how pathetic he is. And back then, you were a young buck. Now you're an old, crinkly old man, okay? So it looks even more disturbing that, you know, you're still talking about that. Like, you should kind of just let that die and stay where it is. And last thing I have to say about it, Ashanti, yes, girl. Take a page from Beyonce, yes. Don't response. No response. You don't have no response for him. I think she did respond one because it's like I said, it's not the first time. So she did respond in an interview many years ago when he tried to do this nonsense. And, you know, she basically kind of shrugged it off and was like, I've
Mm.
moved on with my life.
Mm.
Like, let's talk about Nelly. Like, I don't know. She
Mm.
was with him for almost 10 years. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think you're still bitter, Irv. You're bitter because she moved on and she showed you, no, you're not going to hold me back. You're not going to take my music and give it to
Mm.
somebody else.
Right?
You're not going to hold me back because you want to be able to have access to me and I'm your side chick. No. So kudos to you, Ashanti. So we're gonna move on from this topic with Mr. Perv Gotti, because I think he's had too much attention as is. And so we are going to move on into the workout.
Workout.
Yes, listeners, this is where we work out our hearts and exercise our mental fitness. We do a deep dive discussion on different issues that could be impacting us, different things that we've seen, different topics that, are within our culture and our community. And so, why I need to ask this question. So, just recently, I was talking with Jeanette about the workout, and she wanted to discuss Shia LaBeouf. Is it
Mm-hmm.
LaBeouf or
Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, you
LaBeouf?
said the last LaBeouf. Yeah.
LaBeouf? Anyways, Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
Right. So she wanted to discuss this interview that he did on the podcast Real One with John
Bernal.
Berthel.
Yeah, something like that.
And anyway, so I watched the clip that you sent me on this, and I was like, really, really, white boy.
Okay,
and a sexy white boy, but really,
yeah, he's hot.
But
okay.
So line it up for them.
Yeah,
line it up.
I wanted to line it up.
Tell them a little bit about this clip.
So I was just on my YouTubes and I saw this fairly new video of Shia LaBeouf. And I was remembering, I was like, wait a minute, wasn't this guy like, a couple of years in the pandemic, his ex-girlfriend made some serious allegations about abuse while she was in that relationship and all this stuff. So I'm like, wait, let me see where what's going on here, right? And so essentially the video that he does, the interview he does is with another fellow actor who's had public issues with sobriety and whatever. And he's basically talking about his path to sobriety with this other actor who's hosting the show. And as he's going through, and I got enthralled, like this was just an 18-minute clip out of a 2-hour interview. But I got fully pulled into it because it was interesting to see how when people are recovering and they look back, like, addicts or whatever, one of the paths in recovering from addiction is making amends. So that's what this clip is kind of about.
Right.
And he touches on, he doesn't mention any names, but he touches on, I was sick, I had ego, I used women for ego, I used that woman who was in my house for ego, I had my wife, but, I think he since married his wife after that relationship, but he was with the woman that is his wife was for a long time before they got, he broke off and was dating all these random women, and they eventually got back together in the last year or so, or whatever. And so what was interesting is that, okay, you're talking about this, and I found myself being very empathetic to him. But then I was like, wait a minute, no, that woman that he's glossing over and not saying their name, I remember when that woman released an article and spoke about how this woman she would have to sleep naked, or she couldn't wear any clothes in his house. He would make you be constantly yelling at her so she can't sleep. He isolated her from her friends. It was a typical emotional abuse, and there was even some physical abuse. And I'm like, wait a minute,
yes, there was
dragging me in, and why is it? And I looked at the comments in that video, and there was not one. I'm sorry, I can't look at all the comments. There's a lot of comments because this was actually his first public interview in a long time, so there's actually a lot of press around it. But there was a lot of people who were just like, yeah, cheering him on and da 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 da. But I'm like, and there's nothing wrong with seeing an inspirational story in somebody who was sick and getting better. But also, we can't forget, like, this guy was, like, abusing this woman. Allegedly.
Right? Okay.
But what was interesting is that he did go back to his longtime girlfriend, not just after her, but I think not too long after that. And he did say, she was one of many. He admits that on the podcast. And he even released a statement when she made those allegations to be like, I'm sorry that this happened. He obviously can't admit guilt, but he does apologize to her. And he also says in the interview that she was an angel, and if I didn't have her, I wouldn't have sought help, because after the allegations, he said he was ready to kill himself. And so it's a lot, because it's like, it's a very gray area in that he was accused of something very heinous, but he was also not in his right mind. He's an addict. But my issue is, if that woman, FKA Twigs, is the artist, um,
Yep.
and she's a British girl, she's biracial, black, I'll call her black. If that woman was that woman was white, I don't think the sympathy that he's getting right now, I don't think it would be as heavy. I'm gonna be real. That was like my. I think at the end of the day, he did bad, and he's making amends, and I actually am empathetic to him in his situation. I know his life story, but I also feel like this forgiveness is coming a little too easy. It's just coming a little too easy for me. What did you think?
Well, that's the problem. So, yes, and so thank you for the preface on the actual video.
Mm.
And the question that I have to ask is exactly that. Why is he being forgiven with open arms so
Open
easily,
arms, yes.
so without reapproach? Like,
Yes.
it seems to me that this is a classic example of white privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think he's hot. I think he's
Yes.
a
Very talented as
talented
well.
actor,
Mm-hmm.
very talented actor. He can do big things, you know. Um, and I understand also he was sick and he was getting over, his strong addiction to drugs and so on. And I remember him going on the verge of what the media would call insanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so saddened by that because I thought at that time there's this young man who is doing so well in the industry. He's making big moves, big movies, big blockbusters, and the talent to see it kind of go to waste like this was sad. So it's nice to see now that he is, rehabilitated himself and is in recovery of whatever addictions he's had. However, I have to ask that question. Why is it so easy for him over any other race? Now, I don't like to do comparisons, but we're going to do a comparison today, listeners. When we take someone like Kanye West, who has had countless outbursts, who has said himself that he's bipolar, he has a disorder. He's also told us about his struggle with these prescription drugs. Okay, we see that.
Mm-hmm.
But for some particular reason, people still wanna, string up Kanye West by the tree. You understand? Lynching this man and crucifying him.
Mm-hmm.
But yet this man over here could do almost identical. Because he was acting the damn fool a few years ago, okay? He was acting the damn fool in these streets.
Mm-hmm.
So almost be identical in behavior. And okay, there's no disorder that we know of, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we just open arms and, oh, it's okay. Just come on in and get back to work and let it, no shunning, no reapproach, no questioning. It just seems like he's thrown back into the industry. Now, when I saw the interview, there was a good point in the interview where I felt confident that he has kicked this, that he has actually kicked it, and that he is going into a new stage of his life of being clean. And I hope to see great things from him. But he has to have a very strong support system if he's going to go back into the lion's den.
Yeah.
So he needs to have a very strong support system, and that's all. I'm not saying he doesn't. All I'm saying is, from my perspective, you came out of that lion's den half intact. So if you're gonna go step back into that arena, okay, if you're gonna step back into that arena, you better have a very strong support system around you and rallying behind you, because with white privilege, you can do it once, you can even do it twice, but once you do it 3 and 4 times, oh no, the arms are closed. Okay, nobody is open arm, nada. Okay, you're right off at that point. So I really hope for the best for him in his recovery, and his sobriety. I really do. But I can't but help to look at two men who have been in the public eye and who have been treated vastly different. Like vastly, like wow. Okay? To the woman, she is a black woman as far as I'm concerned. She could be biracial, whatever you want to throw on it. At the end of the day, she's a black woman. When I look at her, I see black woman. And that particular black woman was treated like garbage. Now, I have to wonder, if it were a white woman that he treated that way, would this not be a big to-do and ordeal? Because this kind of went over to the side a bit. Like she told us what had happened, her allegations, but it doesn't seem to be that big of an issue. It doesn't seem to have the same impact, and it makes me wonder again. Now, if that were a white woman, like
think about Amber Heard. Think about the whole situation with Amber Heard.
Thank you.
Hello, the man lost like millions, hundreds of millions, and so I didn't see that happening here. And not to say whether it should happen or not, but I'm just saying I think who the victim is played a big part in Shia being able to quickly kind of push that side to the side, and it looks like he's on his road to redemption. That's probably what this interview is about. And again, it's not really him. It's more the machine. It's a double standard. Like, whatever the machine is that gets people where their careers are in shambles or they lose out and because they're ostracized because they've been behaving badly. I don't think he's really... I think maybe he lost one or two roles. Okay, but the fact that this interview...
But in the segment, in the segment interview, I want to point out two things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
One was that while he was in recovery, he had said, just to shoot the shit and to keep his, I guess, talent fresh, he wanted to do movies. And he was willing to do just about any type of movie. But the fact that he has an opportunity while in the midst of recovery to even have an option to do any type of movie shows you a difference right there. Second thing that rubbed me the wrong way was he had made mention, he's married, and at the time I guess he had Twig living in his house with him. Okay, and he made a reference to, I had another woman living in my house with me while I was married.
Yeah, he doesn't name her, but we know that's who he's talking about,
We know he doesn't name her, but that's who you're talking about. Okay? You miss me with the bullshit. You were talking about her, and so the way that you made it seem as though she was the villain in the situation, that she was the one that was in your house taking you... I don't know.
You wanted her in the house. So the way he said it was weird.
That you wanted her in the house, bro. Like, what you talking about? You brought her into your house. What you mean? So don't make it flip the script now and make it seem like she was just some, seductive, something or another who just came and manipulated your life and was living with you and took you away from your wife and caused you to cheat. That was the one part that I was like, I think you need to go do those 12 steps again, bro. Because guess what? You're supposed to take accountability for your actions. And in this moment, you don't sound like you sound like you missed that step. Because you were accountable for that woman to be in your house while you were married. You made a vow to be married and not to have another woman in your relationship. So miss me with that bullshit. I think you need to go back and do that step of the 12-step program again. Because you didn't quite get that message. That was your responsibility. You should have known better. She can do whatever the hell she wants to do. It's you that should have known better. So I didn't like that part about what he was saying. And lastly, towards the end, it felt a little performative. Just a little bit. I don't know. Just a little bit. Like, towards the end, I was like,
We do have to remember he's an actor.
I don't know. I watched it twice. The
Mm,
whole thing from start to finish, the
mhm,
18-minute clip.
mhm.
But I watched it twice and I felt like, okay, one thing I'll say is that, there's a lot of jargon that we pick up, in our communities, and a lot of slang and a lot of, funny sayings and stuff like that. And it felt like he, towards the end, couldn't just straight talk. It was
Yeah.
like we used a lot of those slangs or those sayings or those, and I was just like, bruh, stop with all the damn sayings, okay? It feels like you're reading a script, okay? Just tell me what you really think and how you really feel. So that was the only thing about it. But you know what? I wish all the best to him. I really
Mhm.
do. And if it had to take a black woman to put his ass in check and set him on the right path, then that's what it had to be. But the fact that you want to make her seem like she's the villain in this case, how she's the the skank or the side chick, like you had nothing to do with it, doesn't rub me the right way. And lastly, did he go back to his wife?
He did. He did. And they had a baby this
Oh,
year. They had a baby this
interesting,
year.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? Right. So the black woman cleaned you up so that you can go back to your white wife. Interesting. But anywho, that's just my view on that.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
what do you think about what else he had to say? And really and truly, really and dig deep into this because Janae, it don't seem coincidental. Don't seem just
Well,
a little bit.
it was interesting because the wife thing was interesting. I didn't know he was married. So that was what was like that was a revelation to me. And then after kind of looking at him up after the interview, I was like, "Oh yeah, he was married." And then I guess recently within the past year or two, I don't know, like after that whole incident, he's went back to his wife and then this year they had a baby together. I think her name is Mia Goth. And but I was just like, that's interesting because two things is like, did the allegations, like you said, send you back to your wife? Is this like an image thing? Did the allegations come because you were
Mm-hmm.
gonna go back to your wife, like on FKA twigs? Like, I'm not victim shaming. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I do believe, like, no one did, like, I'm sure he admits that he was not he abused her, not only her, a lot of women he dated. He had a bad behavior. So actually, the women who even dated him and put up with that nonsense, mm, I don't know. Because he was clearly had a problem, and y'all kind of
Right?
went in with a person who's fighting the addiction. You're not gonna have a great romance with somebody like that. You might have that attraction, but it's gonna spiral, and it clearly did with him and FKA Twigs. And I often wonder. She did an interview with Gail, and I don't remember it even now, and she kind of outlined
Mm-hmm.
everything. And I do remember Gail asking her why did you stay, and she felt, I think it's called,
Yeah.
when people, we hear this a lot of time, when people are in a relationship with somebody who has issues, you feel guilty. You feel like when you leave them, or them as addicts will make you feel guilty. So they put their whole issues on you, and now it's like, okay, you need to be there to help them or be some kind of crutch for them. But you need to realize, and if you read this, if you watch this interview, he even admits, he's like, she made me have to look at myself. I had an ego and I used women to feed my ego. And when these allegations came in, I was about ready to kill myself, because now you have to face your problem, right?
Yeah, you
um
can't you
mhm.
can't use drugs to hide the actual you, and you have to face yourself.
Yeah, and
You
I think
know,
and I think at the end of the day, why I kind of just wanted to talk about this a little bit more is, it's interesting. I feel like, what's the difference between him and Johnny Depp? And honestly, and it made me really sad. It was like, I think, you know what, it's a black woman who made these allegations, because he admits he had this behavior with other women, but none of those women came forward or made a big thing, and they were other, he dated, the other women he dated were white. And one time somebody steps up and calls out his behavior, like what was going on inside the home, it kind of gets swept under the rug. And I do believe because she was black. And I don't want to say what's right or what's wrong, but I'm just saying this double standard and the value. It tells you, what does Malcolm X say? The most disrespected woman on this person on this planet is a black woman, and they could continues to ring true. And while I'm happy that Shia is trying to get better and he's turning to God and trying to shelter himself, I'm not trying to say everything should go away for him. That's not what I'm saying. But I do feel like that public backlash, where's that energy for another a woman of color? You know what I mean? So it's like you're showing the value,
and it's never there. And
right?
it's like black women are expected to do the dirty work. Okay, and in this case, she was the dirty work cleaner because she came along, she cleaned you up, she dusted you off for your wife.
Yeah, he literally calls her a saint at the end of the interview. Again, he doesn't name her, but he calls her a saint because was the wake up call. That was the wake up call. But anyway, I just wanted, it was a topic of discussion. I think it's something very gray, but it was just interesting. It was interesting to see. Wish them all the best.
I do. I wish him all the best. And to try to take this on a brighter spin, when you see somebody in your life that needs help and you really genuinely care about them, it shouldn't matter what color they are. It shouldn't.
Yeah, I know.
And the fact that she was willing to go through all of that, and the fact that she was willing to put herself out there knowing that as a black woman, you're going to get disregarded. And she still took that risk. Kudos to you, black woman. Kudos to you for doing the damn thing and showing him that there's more to life than where he was going. I'm going to big you up. I'm going to give you your just desserts. I'm going to give you your kudos because I don't think there would be him. So I'm glad that you did come into his life when you did, and that you did help him to become a better man. And hopefully he will continue on this trend and he will do well in his career and as a father. And now that you are a father, Mr. LaBeouf, make sure that when you go back into that devil's den, you have a strong support system to help pull you out, because you're going to need it. And with that being said, everyone, we do hope that your hearts and your minds were activated on this week's show. So whether you do lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful, everyone. We will talk to y'all soon. We missed y'all. I can't wait to talk to y'all again. Bye.
Bye-bye.